Ladies, what was the moment you realized he was the one?
When I first started dating my boyfriend, his brother had a pretty difficult girlfriend who was constantly out of town and would leave her old sick dogs with my boyfriend. These poor things were blind, barely able to walk, and incontinent. But my boyfriend was always so gentle with them. He never got upset. He calmly cleaned up after them, carried them outside, laid them in the grass, and said, "Oh, buddy, did it happen again? It's okay. Let me clean you up. Here's a little food for you." After I saw that once, I knew he was the one. I knew he was the one the first time I stayed over at his place. I woke up and saw that he had plugged in my phone to charge overnight. Plot twist, while you were asleep, he was snooping through your phone for so long he had to charge it to cover his tracks. When you fight, but it doesn't change how you treat each other. A note in a lunchbox. I put slightly less love in this sandwich than usual. When he does things for you without expecting anything in return. He was the first guy who asked my autistic sister to dance. And this was even before we were together. It happened at our older sister's wedding. He saw my sister dancing alone and went up to her. He won me over before he even knew he wanted to be with me. Edit, no, I didn't steal my sister's boyfriend. He was a family friend long before. They just danced, that's it. My sister was really happy and it made me happy to see her that way. Katie has autism. She's very developmentally delayed and she has serious episodes that mean she usually has to stay home. Whenever Sean, my now boyfriend, and I visit her, she gets so excited to see her big brother. Hope that clears things up a bit. I realized it after a really hard day for both of us. He gave me a tight hug and said how relieved he was that I was alive and safe. That was when I knew I truly loved him. Before that, honestly, I wasn't sure we'd last. To answer the question, when a guy shows you he cares about how you feel, that's when you know he's the one. Just to add, of course there are exceptions, but he's definitely the one if he tells you the painful truth, even when he could have lied. A guy who's willing to be honest, even if it might hurt him, is special, because lying to protect someone's feelings is so much easier.
Reversal. I'm a guy. I ended up in the hospital once with a broken leg. I was screaming in pain. My girlfriend had driven me there, and when we arrived, a nurse told her she could leave because there was no reason for her to stay. She said, "My boyfriend just broke his leg and is in agony. Where else would I be?" That's when I knew she was the one. Once we were out walking, now he's my husband, and we were eating ice cream. I finished my little cup first and asked for a taste of his. I took a small bite and gave it back.
"Take some more," he said. "No, I don't want to eat all your ice cream." He laughed and said, "I always get the big one on purpose so I can share it with you." That's when I started noticing all the little things he had done for me. Quietly, without asking for thanks or even mentioning them. That's when I knew. I knew when he was describing the treehouse he was planning to build for me. "I'm so jealous of you, I had to think twice before giving your comment an upvote. I want a treehouse too." At the very beginning of our relationship, he invited me and my 3-year-old sister out for frozen yogurt to celebrate her birthday. He helped her eat her yogurt because he didn't get any for himself. I was eating mine. Then he taught her how to play Connect 4 and let her win because, like all little kids, she came up with some made-up rules that made it impossible for him to beat her. At one point, she looked at him and said, "You're the best big brother ever," even though she's never had a brother. That moment really touched me, and I knew then and there that he was the one I needed in my life. And to this day, when people ask my sister if she has any brothers or sisters, she always mentions him. In fact, she usually brings him up first, and then remembers me. He is 100% the one, and I'm so glad I met him. He sends you cute dog photos when you're in a bad mood. Those last 5 words can be crossed out. I'm embarrassed I had to read those last 5 words. If he does something kind for you just because, with no hidden motives. One time, my boyfriend, now husband, brought me breakfast in bed. I asked, "What's the occasion?" He said, "No occasion, just because." That's when I knew, and years later, he still does sweet little things for me, like bringing me flowers at work, cleaning the house, drawing me a warm bath. Just because. I'm so glad I stayed with him. I once had a girlfriend I used to surprise with little thoughtful things like that. Unfortunately, over time, those gestures started to lose their magic for her, and she began to expect more every time. As you've probably already guessed, it didn't work out between us. For me, the moment I knew was when he happily shared his life with me, his thoughts, his worries, his inside jokes, little things that reminded him of me, songs he liked, books he loved. We always have something to talk about, and through those conversations, we keep discovering just how much we have in common. And whenever I ask if he wants to go somewhere with me on a certain day, he always says yes, without even asking what we're going to do or why. I'm so happy that our relationship has reached that level of trust. I knew he was the one when I saw how he treats his little sister. Even though there's quite an age gap, he's 19 and she's 10, they're the closest siblings I've ever seen. Older brothers often tend to keep their distance, but not him. He knows their parents are always busy, so he's taken it upon himself to make sure she has a happy childhood. I realized it from the way he treated other people and the way he talked about them. Not just because he leaves good tips at restaurants, but more from the questions he asks people, the way he genuinely engages in conversation, and how interested he is in others. You know it really means something when you mention your sister or a friend, and later he asks, "Oh, hey, how's your friend's sister doing? Did she end up doing that thing?" That kind of thoughtfulness sticks with you. It's funny how easy it is to list all the reasons not to date someone, and how hard it is to list the reasons why someone is worth holding on to. I have a reverse story. I'm a guy. When we had just started dating, I suggested we go visit my mom. When we got there, I went into the garage and started digging through some boxes of my childhood stuff that had been stored away for years. While I was rummaging around, I suddenly remembered my favorite childhood plush puppy, and I decided I just had to find it. But as it turned out, just a few days earlier, completely by accident, my mom's dog had found my old toy and tore it to shreds. You could still see bits of stuffing near her doghouse. I was genuinely upset that my childhood favorite had met such a tragic fate, but I didn't want to seem weak in front of my new girlfriend, so I tried to stay composed. But I couldn't hold it together. My lip started trembling and I cried. And my girlfriend, my amazing girlfriend, gathered up the remains of what was no longer a plush puppy and said she was going to fix it. And she did. Sure, the ears were gone for good, and now he's got a slightly crooked face. But overall, Doggie's doing just fine. We actually gave him to our son not long ago. Sorry, but if you get to the end of an argument and feel closer to each other afterward, that's a very good sign. I recently spoke with an older couple who've been married for 50 years, and they told me the real key to a long and happy relationship is simply treating each other well. That and 20-second hugs every morning. We've been friends for years, and I always knew he was a good guy. But I realized I truly wanted to be with him when he flew across the country with me to meet my family.
We went out to lunch with my grandparents, then sat in a little gazebo just chatting for a while. When it was time to leave, he waited until my grandma made it to the steps and helped her down carefully. That kind of respect and thoughtfulness toward others, it's a clear sign that you're dealing with a genuinely good person. When he doesn't rely on cliches or stereotypes, but actually makes the effort to get to know you. Like when he gives you sunflowers, not roses, not because all girls love roses, but because sunflowers remind him of fall, and fall is your favorite season. And when he keeps telling you how happy he is that you're in his life. He surrounds himself with good people, helps others without expecting anything in return, and he's not just your partner, he's your best friend too. When something's wrong, he comes over, listens, and just gently hugs you, without offering opinions or trying to fix things. You can feel that he really cares when you're hurting. Like when he pulls a blanket over you and kisses you on the cheek thinking you're asleep. Okay, I need to preface this by saying it's a bit of a weird story, and I don't really know what's up with my dad, but I love him anyway. So my dad is obsessed with drones, like weirdly obsessed. He runs a YouTube channel where he posts reviews on different drones, software, lenses, filters, all that stuff. Anyway, when I brought my boyfriend home to meet my parents for the first time, my dad immediately started showing him his drone videos. I stepped out for a quick phone call, and when I came back, they were 24 minutes deep into watching some drone footage of a guy playing golf. I had no idea what was going on. It was a full 36-minute video. My dad had filmed every hole, zooming in, zooming out, I guess testing out different settings. Just before I left the room, I'd heard him mention something about an anti-glare filter or whatever. Anyway, cut to the 24-minute mark. The drone flies over a pond near the course, and the camera tilts just right so you can see the sun's reflection on the water. And my boyfriend goes, and I remember this word for word because how could I not? He goes, "Whoa, that's awesome. That filter lets in just enough light to keep the image bright without losing sharpness." And my dad shouts, "I told you it was amazing." They watched the whole thing, all 36 minutes. It was one of the weirdest, but also the sweetest things I've ever experienced. When he drove 8 hours just to surprise me at my place in San Francisco, he somehow managed not to let a single word slip beforehand. Someone rang the doorbell, I opened the door, and there he was, standing there with a bottle of wine in his hand. I'd already made peace with the idea that I wouldn't get to see him that summer. When I asked why he did it, he just said, "I missed you." When I realized that he always does what he says he will, and it doesn't matter whether it's something small or something big. If he says he'll be somewhere at 3, he'll actually be there at 3. If he says he'll take out the trash will be taken out. Thanks so much for watching. And ladies, let me know in the comments, what's a sign for you that a guy is the one?